Hello and welcome to the Responsive Family Sleep Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Hawley, holistic sleep coach, lactation consultant, peaceful parenting educator, and mom. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by all the conflicting sleep info, frustrated with sleep information that just plain felt wrong, or searched desperately for a truly gentle and responsive sleep approach, then you are in the right place. In each episode, we'll be answering your most pressing baby and toddler sleep questions, busting those sleep myths, and helping you understand truly developmental, biologically normal baby and toddler sleep, plus encouraging you to trust your intuition along the way. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. This week, we are going to be talking about simple steps you can take to nurture your own sleep. I often say podcast episodes come from my conversations with my clients, and this one is definitely one of them. But this one also came from me. Me calling myself out around some bad habits that I had gotten into over the winter. You know, this podcast is coming out in early April, but I am recording it here the last week of February. And in DC, we are having a warm week, one of our pretend springs, right, where winter has disappeared and it is suddenly spring-like. And it won't last necessarily, it usually doesn't. But the reason this is relevant is because it was kind of a kick in my own butt to re-engage with some of the practices that I had let slide over the winter. And it's been a really stressful winter around here on a few different fronts, and also a really cold winter. If you're actually somewhere legit cold, you can laugh at me now because, not compared to Canada or, some other places. But for DC, it's been a cold winter. And so get this lovely spring-like weather, and I always think that our transition seasons of spring and fall are a good time to check in with some of our practices. And for me, that meant reminding myself that I had stopped doing one of my sleep self-nurturing practices of getting morning sunlight. And so I was like, what else have I stopped doing? Because I haven't been sleeping very well this winter. What else have I been doing that I let slide over the winter? And what do I need to re-engage with? What do I need to kind of, regain my self-discipline about to take care of my own sleep? And then that happened for me, kind of looking at my own stuff. And then, of course, it came up with quite a few clients over the course of this week. So here we are. Some of the themes that have come up when we're thinking about what can we do to take care of our own sleep. Because obviously there's all the stuff with baby sleep. And I've talked about this on the podcast before, right? But there are things that we can do that help our own sleep quality. And often when I mention these things, people are thinking about, how quickly they're falling asleep at bedtime. And Kim, I fall asleep really easily at bedtime. Okay, that's great. And that is great. And a lot of these things are also talking about how quickly you continue to fall asleep after your baby wakes, later on in the night, right? It's about sleep quality throughout the night. It's about supporting the physiological processes that make sleep restorative. So just a reminder that just because you fall asleep easily at bedtime doesn't mean that we're doing all the things that we need to do to support good sleep quality, right? And also, I fully understand that everybody has their own kind of baggage as a parent when it comes to sleep. So these aren't magic fixes. Certainly, you're still going to be woken if you have a wakeful baby. If you have, insomnia issues, these will help. They might not be all that you need, but just acknowledging that this is a complex topic. But what sparked this, right? It was the morning sunlight for me. For years now, I have been prioritizing morning sunlight exposure, natural sunlight, meaning that it is not filtered through glass. So that looks like stepping outside or opening a window so the light is coming through the screen not the glass window. And that is so that you're getting the full spectrum of light waves. Glass can filter out some of those UV wavelengths and infrared wavelengths that we're not seeing, right? But our skin, our eyes are still receiving. And so for me, that often looks like stepping out for a few minutes while my kids are getting ready after sunrise, and then getting a longer time outside a little bit later in the morning, usually taking my daughter to school and walking through the neighborhood. And I just wasn't doing it, right? Because it was cold. And there was lots of mornings where my husband was driving because it was just too cold for us to be out walking, or I wasn't stepping out for that little bit of sun in the morning because it was cold, or just because I didn't want to, right? Kind of gotten in that rut. And so that's what I've been recommitting to this week, is getting outside. It can just be as simple as 10 minutes in the first few hours of your day to get outside and get some sunlight. It can be complicated. I'll link to a blog post where I talk about different types of light as it moves throughout the day and different things in the show notes, but it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. So morning sunlight helps with serotonin production. That helps your mood, your mental health. It also in turn helps with melatonin production. So that helps you go to sleep. Yes, but it also helps your sleep quality throughout the night. So morning sunlight is directly tied to nighttime sleep quality and also to energy throughout the day. So that's one thing that you could also recommit to doing. And the spring is a lovely time because it's so much easier to get outside. Another thing that comes up often in my conversations with clients is just the timing of caffeine. I love coffee. I am such a coffee drinker, which is funny because growing up, I thought coffee was the grossest smelling thing ever. And then college and grad school happened, and I am a full-on coffee convert. But when you drink your coffee matters. And so really being intentional about drinking your coffee in the morning, and maybe not drinking it after midday or early afternoon or whatever that time is, where it begins to impact your nighttime sleep. That can be really helpful. And honestly, alcohol consumption can also mess with your sleep. So if you like a glass of wine with dinner, or a beer or something like that, alcohol can make you fall asleep more quickly, but it also can mess with your sleep quality. And so if you're not sleeping well, having a drink too close to bedtime isn't going to help your sleep quality either. And of course, if you're bed sharing, we don't want to have alcoholic drinks, too close to going to sleep either, because that's not safe. So what we're consuming during the day and when we're consuming it can impact nighttime sleep. And of course, we can go down the whole rabbit hole of things like nutrition and all of that, but that is a deeper conversation that I will save to when I have a nutrition expert. But another really simple thing that a lot of parents do find is helpful is magnesium glycinate. I always say it wrong, but that one specifically, which is good for nervous system regulation. And in turn, some people find is really effective for helping with sleep, taking it, with dinner in the evening. So magnesium glycinate. Obviously, I'm not recommending, right? Not prescribing here, just sharing something that many people find helpful. Definitely something to chat about with your own healthcare provider. Thinking about our evenings, right? There's so many ways that we do and don't support our own sleep quality. And it's hard because we kind of want to do what we want to do, but what we want to do isn't always helping us. So one really simple way that I've been talking about with quite a few clients this week is to get out the orange, amber toned blue light blocking glasses and wear them from sunset or dark fall onwards to bedtime. because if we can block blue light in the evening, then we can have a nice, strong melatonin release. Be ready for bed a little bit earlier and have better quality sleep. This also will kind of mitigate some of the time on a phone, on a screen. You could certainly swap all the lights in your home for ones that don't have blue light and are the orangey amber tone. We have some in our living room. We have some in our hallway. We have some upstairs. Our whole house is definitely not those types of lights, but I know people who do and prefer to modify their environment. I would not trust the nighttime filter on your phone or your computer. It's better than nothing, but it's not filtering everything out. So orange, amber tone, blue light blocking glasses can be really, really helpful in the evening, kind of setting you up for sleep. And then some sort of mindfulness or stress relieving ritual ahead of sleep. And I've been chatting with quite a few clients about this week as well. Even if you don't feel like you're particularly anxious or stressed, just that ability to get into that deeper state of relaxation and that ability to connect with yourself. Whatever it is that feels good. It could just be journaling, right? It could be a guided meditation or mindfulness exercise. It could be a few minutes of deep abdominal breathing, like a longer exhale. Whatever feels like it's helping you relax so that you're heading into sleep feeling really relaxed and connected to your body, really having shaken off, any stress from the day. That can be really powerful in helping you settle into sleep, especially if you're the kind of person who is anxious about when your baby's going to wake up. And you're sitting there going, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't go to sleep now. They're just going to wake up soon. As soon as I fall asleep, they're going to wake up. What's the point? And you're kind of one of those people that tends to ruminate and spiral a bit there, which is understandable in some situations, but really causes you to miss out on a lot of sleep. And so if you find that you're anxious in those sort of ways, or just anxious about the state of the world, anxious about and stressed about life, any number of things, then definitely bringing in the mindfulness, the meditation, the deep breathing, the journaling, whatever it is that sort of clicks with you to help settle your nervous system ahead of sleep. So I hope this gives you some ideas. It's certainly not an exhaustive list, but these are the topics that have come up most frequently this week for me in talking with clients. The morning sun and the blue light blocking glasses were both things that I've kind of been giving myself a kick in the butt to remember and get back in the habit of, because we all can just slide on our habits, and it's great to re-engage with these things and just remember, like, hey, what are we doing? The things that we can do that are within our control to help, support our sleep. Even while we might be doing things specifically aimed at optimizing baby sleep, right? They're not mutually exclusive. And we tend to get the best sleep when we do both, right? When we work on what our kiddo needs for them to sleep better, and when we take responsibility and work on the pieces that we can work on for our own sleep quality. And it's going to be good for your health, right? These are all healthy things to do for your sleep quality, no matter what. So I hope this gives you some ideas. I hope you find it a good time to re-engage or engage for the first time with ideas around supporting your own sleep quality. And if you have any questions, I always love when folks reach out to me through my website, through Instagram. I'm always here. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this episode left you feeling more informed, confident, and encouraged on your sleep journey. And just a reminder before you go that nothing in this episode is individualized to your specific sleep situation, nor is it to be taken as medical advice. Take what resonates, ignore what doesn't, and check with your healthcare provider about any medical concerns. Take a moment to subscribe to this podcast so that you'll never miss an episode. And take a moment to rate, review, or share an episode you love on social media. All of that helps parents just like you find me, this podcast, and this gentle and responsive sleep information. I'll see you next time.